Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to show you guys my October wrap up. All the books I read in October with only one ebook. It wasn't a big ebook month for me. So most of my books were physical that I read this month. First one I'm going to show you guys was a 5-star by Philippa Gregory, A Respectable Trade. I rated it 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. It was definitely sad and gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching to read about, but I really enjoyed it. This was actually my first Philippa Gregory book that I read ever. So I like the way she writes her books. I like the way she tells historical fiction stories. I wouldn't say that I necessarily love her as a historical fiction author, but if I read more of her books, which I plan to, I do think I will end up loving her books in the very near future. Next one that I read was a thriller by another author I've never read books by, Touch and Go by Gardner. She is becoming a favorite thriller author of mine. This was my first time reading her book, but this book was very fast-paced. It had me on the edge of my seat until the very last page, and I really loved how she told this story about this woman that went missing, and her entire family was kidnapped because of something the husband did to an enemy or whatever. And so I really like this one. I will definitely read more books by Gardner in the future. Next one I read was also a new to me author, Once Upon a Dream by Liz Braswell. I rated it 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I buddy read this one with my cousin in Virginia, and she's actually still working on the book, but she's almost done with it. She has a very busy life as a teacher at a Montessori school, so usually it takes us a whole month to read a book, and then we try to discuss it before we pick our next buddy read, which won't be till December. So I'm sure next month sometime I'll hear from her and she'll let me know how she liked this book. But I rated it 5 stars. It was based on the Disney fairy tale Sleeping Beauty. I really enjoyed this one. The last chapter was a little too dark for me. I didn't expect it to be that dark, but I still enjoyed this book, and I'm looking forward to reading book 2, A Whole New World, based on the Aladdin Disney movie. Next one I read that I rated 5 stars was Remembering Stardust by C.D. Baker. This one I rated 5 stars. I won it through Library Things monthly giveaways called Early Reviewers Club. And I really like this one. It came from Speakeasy Publishers, so I really enjoy this one. It's set in the 60s during Vietnam, the whole political scandals that happened in the 60s and 70s. So I read about that. It was very interesting. I can see why some of the things my parents would say about growing up in the 60s, because it was mentioned in here, especially about Nixon, Watergate, and all that. I found it very enjoyable and interesting to read about. And what I loved about this book most was that each chapter is titled after a 60s and 70s song that I thought was really cool. Like, for example, if I can find it, let's see here. One of the chapters was titled by the Beatles, which was, I can't find it now, but I remember there were a few Beatles songs mentioned. Oh, and the Beach Boys. There's a Beach Boys song mentioned, which I really enjoyed. And the main character, Stardust, she thought she was in love with John Lennon, which I kind of found a little funny, because I know a lot of people back in the 60s and 70s thought that he was the best thing ever. So I could totally see why girls back then thought that. But I rated it 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. The next one I read, which was a reread for me, was A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. I rated this 5 stars again. I still really love this, and I love the movie as well. I disagree with people on Goodreads that say the book is better than the movie. To me, I rate both of them 50-50. I feel like that they are equal, and I don't find that a lot with his movies. So I feel like the book and the movie coincide together and are just both great. And I would rate them both 10 stars if I could. Okay, my next book that I read and I did not care for, I rated it 3 stars and I'm really upset because I just love the cover, is The Change by Kirsten Miller. This was about 3 women going through menopause. So it basically tells about what they go through in that. And in the process, there's a twist. There's a thriller twist in this book. Basically is, like I said, the women, they go through menopause and they think that something odd is going on with their neighbors. So they think that the menopause is playing tricks on their mind and all that. It was a really freaky read. I'd never read something so freaky in my life. But it was also enjoyable, but I wish it had been better. I only rated it 3 stars on Goodreads. So, if that's anything to say, I just don't like books that are really descriptive and don't tell the storyline. And to me, this is that book. So I'll be either donating it to my used bookstore, or I'll see if one of my friends wants to check this out and read it for themselves and then let me know what they think. But otherwise, I'm giving this one away because I just didn't like it. Okay, the next one I read was Book 2 in the Book 2 in the Creektown Discoveries, which was the Sugarcreek Surprise by Wanda Brunstetter. If you have followed me for a few years now, you know that I am a big fan of Amish fiction books, and it goes back to when my great-grandma lived across from Amish outside of Randolph, New York, and they were really great neighbors to her and helped her out a lot before she had to go into the nursing home when she was in her early 80s. So, with that being said, I rated this one 5 stars. This is a favorite author of mine. I really liked this one. I thought it was cute, about a schoolhouse teacher, and just tells about her life. And then this man comes that is going to fix broken things around the community and she finds him very annoying, but then she falls in love with him, and I won't tell what their ending was, but it was a happy ending, so I'm really happy with this one and can't wait to read book 3 soon. Okay, next one I read, which is not my own. I went to the library on October 17th. My mom had a meeting there, and so I decided to get a new library card, which I did, and I decided to check out a book, as well as I bought 2 books, part of their library cart sale that was going on last month. So I decided to read An Old-Fashioned Girl by Louisa May Alcott. I absolutely love this. I want my own copy now. This is the second book I've read by Louisa May Alcott this year. I read Little Men back in August, and I read this one this month. And she is quickly becoming a favorite of mine, favorite classic author of mine. The only other book I read by her was Little Women, which is a favorite from my childhood. And so I decided to check out her books, and I really enjoyed it. And I can't wait to read more by her. I rated it 5 stars. I thought it was really cute, and it teaches us that even if we feel we are old-fashioned, it's okay to be old-fashioned. It's okay not to have the top price clothes or to have the top price stuff in your house or to own any of that. I just really enjoyed this one, and I can't wait to read more by her in the future or any of her other books. I do have to have this back by next Monday, a week from tomorrow. So I'm really hoping to get that returned, and I probably won't check out any more books until the new year because I have a lot that I have to read next month and in December. Okay, the next ones that I read that were nonfiction were Body Aware by Erica Hornthal and Missing Witches by Risha Dickens and Amy Torko. These ones I got from North Atlantic Books. I've been reviewing for them for 2 years now, I think. This one is just being aware of what your body is saying to you. Like, if your body feels tired, don't push it. Just stretch it out, get all the kinks out of your body, and then be familiar with how your body is feeling each day. And listen to your digestive system, which that part of the book was really important to me since my dad for years had digestive issues, and I want to educate myself to know if I'll have that problem when I get near the age that he was before he got sick and passed away last year. So, I really love this, and I will be keeping it. I rated it 5 stars. I'm looking forward to reading more books by Erica in the future. The next one I read was Missing Witches. I was not crazy about this. I rated it 3.5 stars, I think it was. It was just way too descriptive through part 1 of the book, but part 2 through 4 I really found interesting. So I'll be donating this one as well, or I might give it to one of my friends who's really into feminist magic and witchcraft. So next one I read that I wasn't crazy about either, and I only rated it 3 stars, was The Resting Place by Camilla Stein. Part 1 was really boring to me. It was just descriptive. They were talking about they were walking through the house and going through boxes of stuff of the late grandmothers. Part 2 was really interesting. That's when everything really grabbed my attention and wanted me to keep reading, and finishing it. I wish part 1 was better than what it was. I only rated this 3 stars. I will check out more books by this author, but I just wish this one was better than what it was. The next one I read, which I loved, which was 5 stars, was Greenwich Park by Katherine Faulkner. This was a thriller too. I rated it 5 stars. I was supposed to read it last year, but when my dad got sick last year, I didn't feel like reading it, so I kept putting it off. I finally read it this month. I absolutely loved it. It was about this woman who has an idealistic life. Her husband's an architect. They live in a gorgeous Victorian house and cherish a baby that's on the way after years of infertility. And then they have this surrogate who wants to be a mother to their baby, even though the woman carrying it is the mother. So weird things start to happen. This reminded me a lot of, if anyone's read The Woman in the Window, this book was actually better than that. And that's why I rate 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. Like, I kept wanting to know what's going to happen next. What's Helen going to do next? What's Rachel doing next? I was shocked who the killer was, or who the obsessed person was. By the end, I did not expect it. I thought it would be Rachel, but it wasn't. So this is why I rated it 5 stars. My next book that I read was... Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Not coming up. Which was Inhuman Acts by Brooke L. French. I rated this 5 stars. It was part of a... This book I had to read for traveling book tours, traveling page tours. I always say book tours, I don't know why. It was a thriller about people who get human rabies from animals who haven't been vaccinated, and it takes over Chattanooga, Tennessee. It just tells about the case and how they try and solve it and everything. So I rated this 5 stars. The author was nice enough to send me a thank you card for hosting the book vlog tour, which I posted on Facebook, Instagram, and my book blogs this morning. So make sure you go check those out. I can try and link them down below for you, but you all basically know what my blog names are and all that. Next one I read that was 5 stars, but it was an ebook, was The Devil's Trill by N.B. Saltsman. I rated that 5 stars. It was my first time reading a book by this author, only because I won book 2 through Library Thing giveaways. This was a horror thriller about Lucifer attacking this woman who's a doctor about demonology and that. So I really enjoyed that one. I didn't think I would, but I really enjoyed it. And then I did read book 2 of that series, Harpy's Lullaby, which I won in a giveaway through Library Thing. This one I rated it 4 stars. It basically told about, the first 40 pages was about Lucifer and the attack that almost killed Dr. Kayla from book 1, and I didn't really like that it took over 40 pages of the book, so that's why I rated this one 4 stars. The author was really nice though when I gave her feedback when I posted my review, and she said she'd take that into consideration when she rates book 3, which comes out next year, I think. So I will definitely be reading more by this author. I'll definitely be keeping this book, and hopefully I can get book 1 in a physical copy soon. It's only on Kindle Unlimited. So that being said, the last book I read for October was How to Succeed in Witchcraft by Aislinn Brothy. I won this through a giveaway on bookishfirst.com. I rated this 3 stars because there was just too much high school drama. So I think I'll just donate this or see if one of my friends wants it. So I'll do that. But that's it for now for my October wrap-up. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing all the books I read. As you can see, I read mostly thrillers, which was really exciting for me because I don't read a lot of thrillers, really. But that's it for now, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.